Hi there, and welcome to Lost in Literature. I have always wondered whether truth is stranger than fiction or fiction is stranger than truth. Uh, Let me narrate an incident to you, and I guess you could judge for yourself. Well, this was something I experienced long, long ago during those years I spent in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. I was working as a teacher there in the Indian school, and every time we had exams, we teachers had loads of work like invigilation and bundles of papers to correct. And quite often we carried home a lot of work in terms of correction. And it was during this time that this particular incident I'm talking about took place. One day I had this kind of headache coming on. In off and on, I used to get a lot of these migraines because of the amount of work, reading, preparing, and then of course the corrections, all that. So I could feel this headache coming on in school, and I was talking about it in the staff room over a cup of tea with my friend and colleague. So I told her that I can feel this migraine coming, and what do I do about it? And I have some deadlines to be met the next day. She said, "Oh, don't worry about it. I have a fantastic masseuse, a massage lady. She will come and she will massage your forehead, and believe it or not, in a blink, your headache will be gone." So I said, "Then will you talk to her and send her today, this evening to my place?" She said, "I don't know about evening. She's got a lot of work. Perhaps she could come somewhere along 9 or whatever in the night." I said, "That's fine with me. I'll go home and take it easy and let her turn up and do my massage." Oh, a masseuse, nothing like it. So the minute I got home, of course, I got done with all my, whatever I had to do, little bit of housework. And luckily, I didn't have to make dinner that night because my husband was away on an official trip to Saudi Arabia. And I just had to order some fast food for my son, a ninth grader. And of course, he would be delighted with it. And for myself, I thought I would just empty some soup granules into a cup, pour piping hot water, and that should do for dinner for me. So I had that, and then I told my son I'm going straight to bed because I could already feel the pounding in my head. So I changed into a comfortable loose kaftan and kind of got into bed. And I told him that maybe somebody will come and I should let that person in. I was definitely expecting the masses. And I don't know, I must have drifted off because suddenly the strident ringing of the doorbell awakened me. And I could hear my son yelling to me that he would get it. So I knew it was the massage lady, and I just took it easy. And soon this lady came along, and she lowered herself on the bed. She said, "Ma'am, I'm Maliha, and I think you need a massage. You have a headache, right?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely, Maliha, and what a lovely name you have." And then, of course, she said, "All right, can I dim the lights a little bit so that you'll feel more comfortable, and I'll start the massage." So she leaned over, dimmed the lights, and she also helped herself to a little bit of the fragrant oil I use, before I wash my hair. So she took some oil too, and then she began rubbing my forehead, and it was very, very, very pleasant. It was just very feather-like, kind of movements of the tips of her fingers on my forehead. And then she saw my hair, all spread out on the pillow. She said, "Ma'am, your hair looks completely tangled. Shall I very gently comb it for you?" I said, "That would be lovely." And then she took the comb, a white-toothed one, and I could feel her running it over my hair very, very gently. It felt really good. And this went on, and it had a very soporific effect, I was kind of feeling good and sleepy. She kept combing, and then after some time she set that aside, and then she said, "Okay, now let me give you a proper, massage to get rid of your headache." And then she started kind of kneading my head, the scalp, and then of course she applied pressure to my forehead with the circular movements of her thumbs. And this went on, and then she stroked my hair back, and then she was also kind of, making these long sweeps, from the forehead all the way to the back of my head. And it really felt fantastic, and the headache had almost vanished, and I was feeling so good. Then suddenly, I don't know, I wanted my hair to be combed. So I said, "All right, Maleha, could you just comb my hair for me?" She said, "Oh, would love to do that. I'll definitely do that for you." And she picked up the same white-toothed comb, and there she was, gently combing my hair. And then suddenly, I don't know, there was this slight change in the pressure, The comb was kind of digging a bit into my scalp. I said, "Maleha, softly, please." She said, "Yeah, fine. I'll just dim the lights a little bit so that you can just go off to sleep as I comb." So I said, "Fine." And she dimmed the lights, and it felt so good. I could have just drifted off to sleep. And she started combing. And then I suddenly remembered I have to pay her for the massage. So I told her, I said, "Maleha, would you mind if I paid you tomorrow? Because I don't feel like getting up today." She said, "Oh, ma'am, don't worry about that. You can always pay me later when I come to do your massage again." So I said, "Fine." And then I totally relaxed, and she was combing my hair. I said, "A little more pressure, I won't mind." And then she said, "Ma'am, like this." And she dug the comb into my scalp, and she, applied so much pressure that I felt that it would just splinter through my scalp. I said, my God, Maleha, please go easy." She said, "Ma'am, you asked me for pressure." And then I suddenly looked at her, and her eyes were blazing in the dark. She had a kind of eerie smile on her face, and she continued to comb, and she was just pushing the teeth of the comb into my forehead and then onto the scalp, and then, pressing it down all the way. And I could feel my head tingling, and the headache came back tenfold. I said, "No, Maleha, please stop it. My headache has come back." She said, "Oh no, all right, let me take care of that." And she gave me a very triumphant smile. I should have been alert then. But, well, I wasn't. I said, "Okay, just give me that hand massage because my headache has really come on with all the combing that you've done." And then she said, "Ma'am, how about me combing like this?" And she kind of, flipped her hands open, and I could suddenly see her nails. They were absolutely long. And then she plunged them into my hair and she said, like this? Do you want it like this? And she raked it through my hair, my head. My God, it was terrible. And I was sure now I was bleeding. Tears were pouring down my eyes. It was so painful. I said, Maliha, please stop. Stop. Go away. I don't want any more massage. She said, you do. You do. And she kept raking the comb through my hair horribly, painfully, like this. Some more, in that kind of a manner. And she had this malicious smile playing on her lips. And she said, just imagine, ma'am, what I would have felt when I fainted in this very room. But I was just beyond listening to her. I could vaguely hear her telling me about how she had been in that room when the building was being constructed and her husband had taken a plunge all the way down because of the dizzyingly high temperatures when they worked. Apparently, her husband had been a construction worker and she had followed him to Abu Dhabi as a massage lady. And she would get jobs here and there. And on that particular day, she had been taken up. She had got the news that her husband was no more. He had fallen from the building. And she had been shown that very floor in the room from which he had fallen while that was being built. And I said, Maliha, this is just a story you're telling me. Please stop the massage and go away. You're terrifying me. And then she looked at me. Yeah, you can imagine how terrified I was when all this happened. And I just could not argue with her anymore. And she again plundered, ravaged through my hair. And I was in a bad state. My headache had returned now 100-fold. It was pounding. I have no idea when she left. All I know was that I sobbed and tried my best to push her away. Finally, I just slipped into a kind of restless sleep. And when I woke up the next morning, I decided to take a day off. And I was really angry with my friend for sending such a lady to my house. Anyway, I got my son's breakfast ready. And then I asked him, how could you let a stranger into the house? He said, what stranger? I said, that lady who came in the night to give me a massage. Why did you let her in? I didn't give you permission to let her in. He said, Mummy, what are you talking about? Have you gone mad? Then I just gave, a kind of exasperated, kind of irritated. I made that irritated sound and I said, okay, get on, go to school. And after that, I went for my shower and I could see in the mirror as I brushed my teeth. My forehead had so many scratches and they had been bleeding. It was in my imagination. And I told myself, I couldn't have scratched myself. Surely there was a lady yesterday, and yet my son said he had not let anybody in. And I don't know, I was very upset. I had a very quick shower, super quick. I came out and I decided that it would be better to go to school than to stay at home. It would be much safer there. So when I went to school, I caught hold of my friend. I said, what kind of lady did you send home yesterday? My God, she was horrible. And I don't know if she was normal. And she has raked me all over the face and head. She said, I didn't send that massage lady, Jyothi. I couldn't send her because she was otherwise engaged. I said, what are you telling me? She said, I don't know what you're telling me. Oh, well, that's a kind of experience, which really makes me wonder. Are these supernatural creatures really there? Do we imagine them? Do they really cross the border sometimes and they harass humans? I really don't know. But to date, I wonder about that lady. And I don't think I can ever forget this experience. I leave it to you to judge. Was it real or was it my imagination? I don't know. Do leave your comments. And if you liked this narration, please subscribe to my channel, Lost in Literature. Thank you.